You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
Thank you for joining in. You know who it is. It's G-Sizzle. It's J-Sizzle. The Sizzle baby back in the building. And Jay, got a lot to talk about, man. Got a lot of hardwood to talk about.
Whoa! There's a lot of hardwood to talk about.
Oh, baby, it's so much to talk about. Let's just go ahead and jump on into it, because if we don't, we need to just jump on into it. Let's get the show started. Okay, Jay, we got to talk about something. Have the Clippers been clipped? Did the bubble get the best of the LA Clippers?
I don't know what that was, but I saw two superstars who either didn't want to be there, they was in shock theater, they was too busy looking at the Lakers thinking about, man, it's going to be nice to play against LeBron, because that was the most epic collapse I have ever seen, ever. And between those two, between Leonard and George, and they combined for absolutely nothing in the fourth quarter. Absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like that.
You know, we could throw out stats and we could go through what their combined stats were. And if you've been listening, you probably know the stats as well as we do. But here's the thing that really, we talked about mental health.
Yeah.
And we always talk about it here on the show. And it's become an issue. And it cropped up earlier. You had Lou Williams talking about it. Now you've had Paul George using it. You even have Kawhi saying, hey, we don't have the chemistry yet.
Yeah.
Was this, and it's hard for me to ask, was this a mental health issue when you were up 3-1 in a series? So in what happened by the time you got to game, 4? You just decided to have mental health crisis. I don't know, but was this a game or was this a series that you said the Clippers should win and should win this handily?
Well, the Clippers had it won, and they were already on to LA. That's what I think happened. And you see, Leonard and George went for a combined 24 points for games 5, 6, and 7 in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? That means they were already in their mind. One of them, they figured, Kawhi's going to win the game for us. George is going to win the game for us. And to get nuclear bombed in the seventh game. They got nuclear bombed. I mean, literally got it beaten out of them. I think they were leading, by 12 or 13 points? Something like that in that game. The game before that was in the 20s. Something like that. I mean, something like this. And for what I think, like you said, mentally, they just checked out. I think they just checked out. And for whatever reasons, the Nuggets were just too much for them. They couldn't figure it out. And like Kawhi said, they have to be a smarter team. And I think it was just a situation that everybody was going to try to stop Kawhi. They knew George, for whatever reasons, I think he had already checked out. He was ready to go out of that bubble. And the rest of those guys on that ball club could not come and pick up the slack. And we saw what happened.
How are you not ready in the bubble when you know this is what you came to do? This is your job. You're here to do this.
Well, I mean,
to win the championship.
Well, you think about it. Well, not according to Paul George. Not according to him. He did say that he was coming. It wasn't a championship or bust for them this year. They were still trying to put it all together. So it just looked like it was a situation that some guys could handle that down there and some guys couldn't. It's possible. And anybody having a mental health issue, that could be a real issue. I mean, anxiety could be kicking in. You might be dependent on family members or somebody else to keep you squared away. I mean, there'll be a lot of things going on, especially you're in an environment that long. None of these guys signed up to be on Mars, on basketball Mars. Nobody signed up to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but some guys were able to handle a little bit. I think the Nuggets, actually, to tell you the truth, got better. For whatever reasons, they had no distractions. And they just balled out. So, I mean, it's one of the most epic. I can't even think of another one like that. And why? For what reason can't George and Kawhi Leonard not score the basketball in the fourth quarter in the last 3 games. I mean, they look completely out of sorts. Paul George was so bad, he hit the side of the backboard.
Right.
The side of the backboard. I mean, they got, nothing. They had nothing going to the rim basketball-wise, the midi game, nothing like that. And after a while, once Murray got rolling, it was over. He was hitting everything. Did you see the one he hit falling out of bounds? Looking at the Clippers bench. You know, he looked a la Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? He was just letting it fly. It was crazy. It was a crazy game.
I've heard the excuses, and I've heard people say, well, it wasn't a good mix because the way Paul George came in, the way Kawhi came in, it ruined their chemistry, and it set off all this wonderful Zen mastery that they had. You were up 3 games.
Yeah.
You were up. You were leading. But this goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the bubble when they were saying they didn't want to be there in the first place. They were the ones who were jumping up and saying, yo, when we protest, we're protesting up out this joint. So I'm beginning to wonder if the Clippers are more like the team we saw at the beginning of the playoffs, or, yeah, they're more like the team we saw at the beginning of the playoffs. I can't, because there's nothing that can explain what happened in the fourth quarters in 3 games.
Well, I'm going to tell you what really happened. At least I think so. I think the Joker really is a far better basketball player than they were giving him credit for when they're playing up close. That guy only scored 16 points in that game 7, but he controlled the game. That guy can pass. That guy can pass, has great touch, can lead the break if he needs to, 7-footer leading the break, can shoot the outside jumper. How you defend a guy like that? He's really smooth around the basket. I saw some passes he made. There was one pass he made over his head, no look. And if it wasn't for Patrick Beverly coming in there doing kung fu fighting, I forgot who he's playing. He almost hurt himself. But, the thing about it is that these guys, this guy is going to be a problem. And he ended up being a problem. Jamal Murray, I don't know what type of self-help tapes he's listening to. I'm not sure what it is, but he believed in himself, and every time he got open, he let it fly from the three-point lane. I think it was 6-13 for three-pointers.
Well, here's the ridiculous part. You're talking about Jokic having a triple-double in the third quarter.
Yeah.
He was there. So even though he only had 16 points, look at what he did. Rebounds. Look at what he did. Assists.
Yeah.
Those were the little things. And that was what didn't happen on the other side for the Clippers. Patrick Beverly, whatever Morris is over there, whoever else is there, Lou Williams.
Yeah.
It's like Lou left and went back to the club. I don't know what happened to the rest of the team. Nobody else could score. Nobody else could do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Kawhi's not scoring, if Paul George isn't scoring, shouldn't somebody be able to take up the slack? You've got pros on this team. You've got professionals. And, you also got a head coach who should be able to figure that out. I think we're going to talk about that in a few seconds.
Yeah.
But nobody did anything. It was bad. It was as bad as it could actually be. And right now, it's leading us into our next question. And I think we're going to come up with a solution right now. All right, Jay. So, look, man. Is this the end of the road for Doc Rivers? Has he come to his proverbial end of the road?
This is the third time, man, he's been chased down. We've been up 3-1 in a series. Either they gave away everything he had to bring Paul George in, and just this core group that he had, Lou Williams and the rest of the guys there, just wasn't enough to get it done. But it was enough to get him double-digit leads in each 3 of these ball games. So if you can coach him to a double-digit lead, you got to take responsibility, which he did, for this double-digit loss in Game 7. I don't know what Doc should have done, but whatever he was doing at that particular point wasn't working. I would like to see Doc get up there and start throwing clipboards or something. You know what I'm saying? I think he
right.
was
Anything.
I think he was too relaxed at that point. I think they need to kick in the butt at that point.
Okay.
I think he needed to scream in Leonard's face to wake him up because he looked like he was sleepwalking, and he really looked like he really reminded me when he was playing with Popovich, and he knew he had guys who could come, and when he wasn't Mr. Leonard right now. When you remember when he was just a player, a cast member. You know what I'm saying?
He was the guy with the braids.
Yeah, he was the quiet guy with the braids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was waiting for one of the ghosts from the Spurs to come off the bench and show some leadership.
He was waiting for David Robinson to come off the bench.
Yeah, because he's not a leader. He's not a leader. There ain't a leader. There wasn't a leader on that Clippers team. Not one. And because of that, when you have no leadership and it's going sideways, there was nobody to rally the troops. And Doc Rivers, for whatever reasons, decided not to rally the troops. I don't know why he didn't do that. I don't know why there wasn't a bigger outburst. I want to say he saw Game 6, Game 5, and he just decided, I've seen this before a couple of times, and here it comes again. Maybe there were some injuries. Maybe Kawhi was done. Maybe he knew Paul George just wanted to go home. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the whole situation was, but I didn't see enough out of Doc for him to try to save the Clippers. I didn't see enough out of Doc to try to get this going. Look, and they talked all the big trash. Oh, they wanted the Lakers. They wanted the Lakers. We the baddest team in the building. Blah, 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 blah. They were talking trash. What was that? Patrick Beverly was talking crazy. Who that? The C.J. McCollum and them, and all that other series before that, they was talking crazy, and all of a sudden, they got shamed. I believe what happened. I believe what you saw at the end of that ball game was shame. We talked all that trash, and now we came back it up. And really, what I didn't like at all was that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George left the game at the end of the game. For what? Why take him off the court? Let him stay out there. I don't understand that one either. I think Doc just babied him too much. Didn't get up there and ride the horse like he needed to. And down the end, when they were coming around the corner and they needed some help, Doc didn't get up there and hit him on the flanks and make him run harder. And you saw what happened. They just faded at the end and got smoked by 20.
So the question is Doc on the hot seat? And the biggest question is, at this moment, is Doc the right coach for this team to move forward and propel them to a championship?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, he had him down. I mean, look what happened to him last year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you had him there, but they couldn't get over the hump. Now you went and got rid of a lot of people to go get Paul George. Paul George was supposed to be the answer to AD and the Lakers over there. That was supposed to be the answer. And all of a sudden, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. All of a sudden, I think what happened was all of a sudden now you have to be the man. You have to be the guy. Beforehand, what was he at the Pacers?
Yes.
All right.
And then they got him from Oklahoma City. So he was at OKC. That's where they sent Shea Gill, Chris Alexander.
Right.
And then they sent Chris Paul and however
all that went around. Yeah. So over there you were being a great player in a small market. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden now they bring you in as a great player. You're the savior in LA. You're going to take away the crown from the king. That's what you're coming in here to do. And LeBron's looking over there with no headband. LeBron is staring at you like, you really want some of this? You want some of this 16-time All-NBA? You want this is what you want in the finals? Nah, I don't think so. And they just faded. It was really shocking. I don't think they recovered from this.
I don't even know if it's a recovery because I don't know if they were ever on solid ground. Paul George has not looked right since his horrendous injury where his bone ripped through his leg.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the same. And to your point, Doc doesn't have any court leadership. In fact, if you look back, since his championship run, probably the best element he had in there was having a Rondo and a Paul Pierce and a Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. but really Rondo being the floor general. But he also had Tom Thibodeau, who took over and directed defense and led that team. As you said, there was no one that was upset enough for me. Somebody should have said, hey, this is, whoa, wait a minute, buddy. What are we doing there? What are you doing? No. Stop. No, do something. But nobody did anything. They just sat there and they're like, oh, it's okay. Like, because we're going to win later. And yeah. So then you hear Paul George say, well, we weren't really, I mean, it wasn't that devastating because, this wasn't a championship thing for us anyway. We were just going to be, we were just trying to make sure we got to know each other. And it's really not that bad. Next week we're going to get back to work and then we're going to do some more things. And yeah, that's how ridiculous it was. It was a cavalcade of ridiculousness. You know what it was, Jay? You want to know what it was?
What was it?
It was an effing disaster.
It was
That's what it was. It was an effing disaster. Yes.
And
reference back to the SIZZLE word. You'll figure it out.
And you know what I want to say too on this? Let's not say that he didn't have all his pieces together. Because when he had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, and we're talking prime Chris Paul. Back in the day, prime Chris Paul.
Lob City. Yeah.
Lob City. And they were up 3-1 and they went down and got beat by the Rockets. Under
Come on, man. You had DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
You had Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who they had at the 2 guard. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But that team was great.
Yeah.
That team was great, and he gave up the ghost on that one too. So I just look at it from the standpoint, I wanted to see Doc upset. I wanted to see him slamming, throwing some chairs. I'd rather see him when they were only down like 9 or 10, 12 points, when they got in that ring and they couldn't close. When Joker went to the bench and all of a sudden they expanded that lead out to 15, right then Doc should have lost his mind. He should have absolutely lost his mind. Joker's off the floor. You're letting the kid from Purdue come in there, and all of a sudden now, and they expanded the lead and got 6 more points out in front of you? Come on, man. Come on.
Is Ty Lue going to be the next Clippers head coach? Because I know it's a lot of talk about some people who might be there, and even Franks, who's there already. But is Ty Lue the kind of coach that can help rally these knuckleheads together and get them moving?
I don't know. I don't think they have enough to get it done over there. I just don't think they have enough to get it done. I don't think you needed prime Paul George to make this happen. One of these guys needed to come. We needed a 35-pointer out of these guys. We needed a 20-point fourth quarter. We needed something. And neither one of these guys came in the fourth quarter at all. They probably had their bags packed, already ready to leave. It looked like they had resigned and they were going to lose this series, and they couldn't stop Jamal Murray. I believe that because that guy was just giving everybody the business. He was giving everybody the business.
Well, not the great Patrick Beverley. Go up and slap your mama, Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, but Jamal was losing people. I didn't think Jamal had that type of quickness. And to me, he doesn't look like he's a super quick player. He's just very efficient. And he knows how to cut. He knows how to use screens. And then the Joker's going to make you pay. The Joker's going to make you pay. And that's what we end up seeing. So it was an interesting series. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen ahead of time. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Is Doc Rivers coming back again? I mean, do you give him the reins again? Because who's a better coach than Doc Rivers right now? That would be available. Who's better? That's out there.
Well, you still got. I don't know. I can't say he's better because I don't think you're better if you haven't won a championship.
Right. So,
but you've got some head coaches out there. You got a head coach who just left OKC. Billy Donovan might be.
Yeah, but again, you have nobody there. There's not a Pat Riley or somebody sitting out there like you go, okay, that team underperformed, and we're going to bring this guy in. There's not a Phil Jackson out there.
There's no Phil Jackson. There's no Pat.
Yeah,
it's not even somebody we're getting ready to talk about who might lead his team in the East, all the way to a championship.
Yeah.
So let's hop over. We've talked about the Western Conference, and I'll ask you later your thoughts on Denver and Lakers. But let's look at what's going on the East. You've got the Celtics and the Heat, who are competing for that title run. Who thought Jimmie Butler would lead the Miami Heat to this point? I don't even know if Pat Riley thought it. But right now we're looking at a Miami Heat team that may knock off the presumptive favorites in the Boston Celtics. So, Jay, can the Heat go all the way in the East?
Yeah, he can go all the way in the East. Here the problem is right now. The Heat is a really good zone-playing basketball team. That's what they do really well. And they're taking away what Kemba Walker does best. He is a off-screen, rolling type of guy. Him 2-on-2 ball player. That's what he does. He's probably one of the best in the NBA working off screens. Now with these zones, they're just passing them off. And all of a sudden they're clogging up the lane and they're making them play a different type of ball game. And the problem is, too, is that these young fellas out here with the I'm going to call them the Jimmie Butlers because you almost can't really even say who else is on that ball club for the most part. If it wasn't for Jimmy, you wouldn't be able to say who was on there. But the Jimmie Butlers can fire the three ball. And they can fire the three ball, and they're going to fire the three ball. And if you can't get these guys off the line and they start hitting these three balls with any type of clip, it's going to be a wrap. I think right now I think that block by Bam is really going to fuel. It's going to fuel the Jimmie Butlers, and I really think you're going to see a guy stepping up every series now. Is going to take on something. And they're going to go. Because Bam played well, too. Dragic had, 29 points?
Right.
29?
Dragic just came out, went to the Fountain of Youth, and as you said, you had a Tyler Hero who's playing well.
Wow.
Duncan Robinson who's playing well.
Yeah.
You've got guys giving you contributions that you didn't even think, half of them you didn't even know was still there. Did you know Udonis Haslem's still on the Heat?
I was surprised to me. So guys were coming in. I'm like, oh, who's still in the league? I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
You got Kelly Olynyk out there looking like the second coming of somebody. I don't know. He's coming.
And Kelly Olynyk will give you the business too. See, you got a bunch of tough guys down in Miami. Bunch of tough guys with Kelly Olynyk. You got these guys that are a bunch of chippy guys. Jimmie Butler is probably one of the chippiest players in the league. You know, he ain't got his hair cut, he ain't shaved, he ain't did none of that. And they out there in full warrior mentality right now.
I'm wondering if the Celtics are going to be able to adjust to their physical play. I know Marcus Smart considers himself a tough guy. But if you can shut down Jason Tatum, if you can nullify Kemba Walker, you pretty much, because Jaylen Brown is iffy at best. Then, I mean, are you afraid of Daniel Tice or whoever else they've got in the backcourt?
You're gonna need a Gordon Hayward sighting. That's what you're gonna need.
Is he even ready to play?
I don't know, but they're gonna have to run him out there. They're gonna have to run him out there because now I think this is gonna get worse now because they figured out now they're gonna try to shut down Tatum. That's what they're going to do now. They're going to try, hey, the rest of y'all going to have to try to score now. Kemba Walker, I don't think you can't beat this by yourself. You know, Tatum and Tatum is a star. There's no doubt about that. So they got to limit him because he was torching them. But beyond that, you know,
I'm wondering if this is why the Hornets couldn't get any further. If it's really been exposed to what Kemba is. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, Kemba's dangerous now. But if you take away what he's good at, Kemba to me reminds me a lot of a poor man's Jimmie Butler. Reason why I'm saying that is this. Let me tell you why. Not about the scoring and stuff like that, but he's a guy who's worked himself to be where he is. He's not exceptionally gifted athletically. He just isn't. You know what I'm saying? He's an average basketball type body type player, much like Jimmie Butler is, an average guy. He's average quick. Average jumper. Ain't nothing about Jimmie Butler that's scary. Now, his shoulders, I looked up there the other day, I was watching the game and the camera was panning across, nice and slow. And I thought it was one of those Madden games or something. It was 2K because you know how to make the shoulders extra big. And I look behind and go, oh my God, that's Jimmie Butler. You know what I'm saying? So he's self-made. Kemba Walker.
Jimmie biceps.
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh, he's ridiculous. His shoulders are ridiculous. So now you got a Kemba Walker who's self-made, and he found out how to work the pick and roll, how to work off the screens. And now, and Miami's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. We play zone over here, and you can't shoot us out the zone, so now you got a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem, one that I think is going to be answered very quickly. If Boston doesn't right this ship soon, it could be very, very bad for Boston.
Right.
Very quickly.
So we're gonna wait and see what's going to happen with this, but I don't know if I mean, look, the game went to overtime, so let's not look like Boston was getting smoked. You know what I'm saying? But we're thinking now, can Boston come back off of this? Because now they're down. Are they ready for a team like Miami? This is all Jimmie Butler needed. Was this. Now the Bucks are gone. Now I can be up on top by myself. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's all he needed.
So now that you've got that positioning, and I'm saying Heat in 6.
Wow.
Are we saying that this is going to be Heat Lakers finals? Is that what we're saying? Can we say that? Or does Denver have a shot? Can Denver actually win the Western Conference Finals?
Denver can win this. The best team the Lakers can roll out is when you look at AD playing the 5, right? He don't like playing the 5, but he's going to have to play the 5. If they don't do that, they're going to pull Superman out the mothballs and run him out there against the Joker. Now, here's the problem. And that makes AD going to have to defend a really crafty guy like the Joker who could possibly get him into foul trouble. If you get him into foul trouble, who's picking up the slack for the Lakers? Now, is anybody stopping LeBron? No, you don't need to. You need to get after AD. That's what you need to do. Now, and I'm going to tell you what, Jamal Murray is going to be a problem. Who is stopping Jamal Murray? Kuzma?
Nobody.
Who's stopping Jamal Murray over there?
Well, I know one person that's a problem, and we haven't even talked about it, but the Nuggets have turned another switch ever since Michael Porter Jr. said, if you gave me the ball, we win.
Yeah. Well, now, see, this is what happens when you take a chance, Chicago Bulls, on a guy who is hurt, Chicago Bulls, that he was sitting there, Chicago Bulls, and you could have waited for 2 years, Chicago Bulls, and now all of a sudden you got a guy, nearly a 7-footer, who can rebound for you and has got an offensive game, and all of a sudden they weren't planning on this guy, and the more confident he gets, the better he's going to get, and I'm waiting for him to explode. I'm waiting for him to explode and drop 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for, because it's coming. Because if that jumper starts raining for him, if he starts knocking it down, see, he can shoot the three-pointer too. You know what I'm saying? And he's quick enough to take you off the dribble. If that guy starts raining on you, and it could happen in a bunch, this could get ugly really quickly. So, yeah, I think you got a young ball club who's ready to play, who has, from 2 series now, they came down, 3-1. They came down in 2 series back-to-back. Nobody's ever done it. They believe, and I think the Lakers right now, those role players, Rondo and all of them, going to have to keep coming because this is not just because the worst thing that could have happened to the Lakers right now is that the Clippers are not advancing. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's a situation where now you're going to see them relax.
Right.
You're going to see
I'm with you on that.
You're going to see them relax. And they're thinking they're going to take it to him. Now, can LeBron pack him on his shoulders? Sure, he can pack the Lakers on his shoulders. But, if they get around and they cannot handle the Joker up underneath there, and all of a sudden he's got 12, 13 assists, and you can't stop Murray, and even their role players are really pretty good. So it's eventually we're going to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to see probably a Jeremy Grant go out there and defend some people. They've got some sneaky little pieces there. and Will Barton. You got some guys who are going to be able to do some things. It's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting. And I would say, I'm here to say and put it on the record, I say Lakers in 7. But again, I said 7. I don't think it's going to be an easy series for them. I think by the time they get finished with Denver, it'll make it easy for Heat Lakers. Real easy. Heat Lakers. Can you imagine Jimmie Butler winning a title with the Heat? And you had him right over on the West Side.
Well, that's the name of the game for the Chicago Bulls. Literally, everybody they let go does better somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it, but you're going to see. I can't think of his name right now. The tall kid,
Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. I hate to say it. He's going to find his way somewhere else, and all of a sudden he's going to come into his game too. You know what I'm saying? He's going to come into his game also. So
yeah, I'm looking at their roster. They're probably going to let go Chris Dunn and some more players, but you got the Bulls have like a Thaddeus Young sitting there. You got a 32-year-old power forward that needs not to be there. But your young players aren't developing. Things are going wrong. But hey, I tell you, on the good side, maybe the Bulls will be able to pick up one of the coaches from Denver, and he might be able to come and right this ship, buddy.
No.
He'll be able to make Lauri like Joker, and we'll call him Lauri Seasoning because he'll sprinkle you. Yeah, he's going to sprinkle you.
Look, man, I think coaching-wise, they better bring in a big name. I think they better bring in a big name because you got to be able to recruit to the Bulls right now. I think that's the biggest thing. You got to recruit to the Bulls. And if you can't recruit, I mean, I don't think Doc's gonna be available. I don't think Doc's not going anywhere. But you got to get Mark Jackson, somebody with a name over there, to get these ball clubs so you can start recruiting some players over there. Because that's the biggest problem that the Bulls are having right now. They can't recruit anybody. And who's going to come? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who's going to come? And they got this fourth pick. They got this fourth pick, and I wouldn't be surprised if they trade us out of this fourth pick.
You know, I was going to ask you that real quick. I know that we're getting ready to close, but I thought about that the other night. Can you imagine, or can you see a scenario where the Bulls trade out of that fourth pick? You package that fourth pick along with somebody's top end salary, let's say like an Otto Porter, and you trade out of that. Can you see the Bulls doing that?
Well, I mean, I can see them trade that fourth pick. I don't know who they're going to get for this fourth pick. That's the question. You're not going to get no big name for the fourth pick. You know, because I think 1 through 3 are pretty much, I won't say shoe-ins to play well in the NBA, but I think they're going to be, top flight players in the NBA. After that, I think you're guessing. My biggest fear always has been is where LaMelo Ball is going to go. I think he is the guy in this draft. The long shot. He's a long shot, the sure thing all at the same time. Because you might be getting a superstar out of him, or you might be a guy who's going to play 5 or 6 years in the league, and he's going to be, coming off your bench, and and you might get that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, but to me, he's worth a pick. If he's there at 4, if they pass by him, you got to take him. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a guy who can run an actual point guard, a 6'8" point guard. You got to take him. You know what I'm saying? But, the Bulls are going to end up taking somebody from Serbia. Nothing wrong with the Serbian people. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you just can't keep fishing out here. And you got 4 guys up top who could really do the job for you.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting proposition. But I know what is a good proposition. You finding us. Listen, if you haven't found us, you can always find us at #skillet_sports. That's where you find us on Instagram and on Twitter. If you're looking for us on YouTube, you can look up Iron Skillet Sports right there on YouTube. If you're looking for us on Facebook, Iron Skillet Sports, we're right there for you. There you can find Iron Skillet Sports Television and Iron Skillet Sports Radio. Look, if you got Spotify, just look Iron Skillet Sports. It's right there. If you got Apple, it's right there. If you got Stitcher, it's right there. Iron Skillet Sports. That's where you find all of the best information that we're giving you Did I say that? Look, October, we got some big things coming.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of big things coming. We got a lot of programming coming. So we want you to be up on the programming, but we just had to give you a quick hitter. We had to tell you about what's going on. If you have been in a cave or you were taken hostage and you didn't know what was happening in the NBA, now you know. You've been hardwooded, and now, my friend, you're ready to hit the sizzle streets. So, Jay, before we go, do you want to leave the people with something hot?
Hey, don't be surprised if you see this Miami Heat team go up 3-0 in this series. Don't be surprised.
Ooh. Nuggets.
Yeah.
Nuggets. We're going to have to play this back to see if it's going to be facts.
Yeah.
But Nuggets. Well, that's what we're going to leave you with that. We're going to leave you with something hot. So, yo, you know who it is. You know what we've come to do. It's G-Sizzle, J-Sizzle. Listen, we are the hottest sports talk in the 219. We are the Sizzle, and we will see you, my friend, on the other side.